What is going on, people? Welcome back to RetelFactor. It's Halloween. It is the day of Halloween, so I thought it would be fun to go over a list of 10 scary moments in games that personally scared or unsettled me. Obviously, I haven't played everything, but I sure have played a whole lot of scary games, so I thought it would be fun to reflect and look back at the moments that personally stuck out to me. I gotta start it off with Resident Evil 7. Now, this whole game is scary as balls. I probably could have picked 10 moments from this game alone. But the part that really stuck with me and the part that I definitely remember the most and left the biggest impact is the intro. It's like the opening 20 minutes when you're dealing with Mia and you find her, she's your wife, that's the person you've been looking for. I'm like, oh sweet, we've already accomplished our goal. But no, she's crazy. And that's when you first arrive at like the guest house on the Baker Ranch. And holy shit, bonus points if you are playing that in VR. Playing Resident Evil 7 in VR is a whole other level of fucking spooks. Playing any horror game in VR is like the most terrifying thing. But then when you look at a horror game to the caliber of Resident Evil 7, that just takes it to a whole nother level. Next, this is a really popular one. This is in Silent Hill 2 when you first encounter Pyramid Head. He's obviously like the big, looming figure that's kind of stalking you throughout the whole game. You see him several times, but the very first instance you see him is really it's really shocking, grotesque, like what the fuck moment. He's like raping these mannequins or something like that, something ridiculous, and it's just like such a what the fuck moment scene that it just left a really big impact. There's also another moment that really kind of got under my skin in that game. It's where I think it takes place just before this scene, and you see Pyramid Head for the very first time, and he's kind of just standing there on like the other side of like this barred off kind of fence. You can't get to him, he can't get to you, but he's just standing there in the hallway, just like staring you down, just all calm, doesn't say anything, there's no noise, there's no dramatic effect. It's just this tall fucking Pyramid Head standing there just looking at you. It's like the calm before the storm. Creepy as hell. That's your boy, the Pyramid Head? I have to list something from the Outlast series just because that game is just so intense and so brutal. It's such a visceral experience. That's like the best word I can use to describe it. Very, very intense game. I think the moment that really kind of spooked me the most, or I think it's more of just the character. The Groom. The Groom is like the most terrifying character in any of the Outlast games, and he made his appearance in Outlast Whistleblower, which was a DLC for the first game. There's just something about him, I think compared to like the other Outlast villains who are just like so grotesque and over the top, the fact that he's more subtle, he's just a dude in like a tux, and he's creepy as hell. He's got this stare and this smile that just gets under your skin. And the fact that he almost like cuts your junk off really makes him, kind of leave a lasting impression. Alright, Ocarina of Time, Bottom of the Well. I think it's the fact that I played this when I was so young. Like, this game came out when I was like 9 years old. And I played it when I was 9 years old. And I got to the bottom of the well when I was 9 years old. And that shit scared the hell out of me. Even like the re-deads, like the zombies, the hand dudes coming from the ceiling. And then most of all is the dead hand. The final like little mini boss at the end of the bottom of the well with all the arms sticking out of the ground. This moment left such an impact on me that I made a whole episode of deep cuts about it. And just the fact that, you don't see it coming is totally different than any other part of the game. It's really just scary as hell. Resident Evil Remake has got to be like my favorite horror game of all time. And I think the scariest part of that game is Lisa Trevor. Another thing I made an entire episode of deep cuts on, but Lisa Trevor was like a new thing they added to a remake that wasn't in the original Resident Evil, and it ends up being like one of the scariest things in the game. Your first encounter with her, when you first like see her at the cabin, she just kind of like is shuffling and shambling around, and you can't kill her. I don't know. And just like the noises she makes, just like the moans. I don't know. There's something about her. Next is it's another Lisa, ironically, but this time Lisa from PT. Now the entire PT kind of playable teaser demo is really, really creepy, but I love the fact that it's like a slow burn. It's not like in-your-face scares and shit like that. It just sets this creepy-ass tone and atmosphere. Just the subtlety of like the background noise and the ambience and the radio chatter. It's just you're going through the same hallway over and over again. That once you finally do encounter Lisa for the first time, and you see her just like at the end of the hallway, tell me you didn't shit your pants. Yet another Resident Evil moment. I swear it's the last one. Resident Evil 4 is not typically known for being a super scary kind of video game. It's more of like an action game. But once you finally encounter like an enemy like the Regenerator, something that you can't kill super quickly and super easily, something that just keeps regenerating, keeps coming back, that shit is spooky as hell. I guess I'm kind of realizing about myself, like, enemies that you can't kill, enemies that you can't, like, fucking put in the ground. You know, Pyramid Head, Lisa, Trevor, you know, the Regenerator, those are the kinds of enemies that really scare me the most. I don't know why. Dead Space as a whole has, like, tons of spooks and scares to choose from. But one moment that really stuck with me the most is actually Dead Space 2. You know, you encounter tons of necromorphs throughout the course of the entire trilogy, but to see right in front of you a guy transform from human, get fucked up, and get instantly transformed into a necromorph right in front of you at the beginning of Dead Space 2, it was just so grotesque and so like so insanely detailed in the animation of when it happens that it's just like, holy shit. Eternal Darkness. Now this is another game that doesn't really have tons of like jump scares or in-your-face kind of scares or anything like that. It really is good at setting a tone, setting a mood and atmosphere, and just screwing with you with these crazy like sanity effects that make you kind of go, what the fuck? But there is this one jump scare, I think it's fairly early in the game, that takes place at the main like mansion when you're playing as the main blonde girl, I forget her name. And when you enter the bathroom and you see like this glimpse of her dead in the bathtub, and it's just completely out of nowhere. And I remember playing it for the first time when I was like, man, I must have been like 12 years old or something like that. And I'm pretty sure I stopped. I like rented the game, and it was probably like 9 p.m. at night, and I was playing it. I was playing like in the dark, and then that happened, and I'm just like, nah, fuck that. I turned the lights on and I turned the game off. Forget it. Amnesia: The Dark Descent is kind of like, it's a pretty famous game at this point. I would say it's one of the big games that really started the horror kind of let's play movement on YouTube, you know? Obviously there's tons of scary moments in that game. Just like the creature design, there's only a few of them, but when they come and they were chasing you, it's scary as hell. But I think early on in the game, one of the first encounters you have is actually with like this invisible monster that kind of stalks you in this like flooded basement. And it's referred to as like the water monster. And as soon as you just like dip your foot in the water, you can hear that splash, and then it's fucking coming for you. And you have to like use like body parts to distract it. And it's just like the tension of like when you know it's coming after you. And there's moments where like you have to get into the water. You don't got a choice. You have to get into the water with this invisible monster. It's kind of like the less you see, the scarier it is. It's kind of like that fear of the unknown, the fact that you can't see it, but you know it's there, and you know that it's coming for you. You don't know exactly where it is, but you have to kind of just roll the dice and get into the water. It's such like an effective moment that The Evil Within actually rips this moment off in the first game. And they have like a water monster of their own, and then you have to like pretty much do the same thing. You have to like distract it and then jump in the water to kind of get around it. Just kind of goes to show, like, damn, it's such an effective moment. Oh, of course there's a water monster, man. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what spooky moments have stuck with you guys over the years. And of course, have a safe and happy Halloween.